What do Wiccans eat? Wiccan diet. The Wiccan diet is not set in stone and varies from coven to coven and solitaire to solitaire. However, the guidelines in place are generally agreed upon that the most natural diet, the better. Nutritional divestment from factory farming and animal cruelty is preferred, and organic food, in addition to often but not always vegetarianism or veganism, is also agreed upon. Oftentimes, kosher and halal food will suffice to meet the needs of avoiding factory farming, genetic modification, and animal cruelty. Cakes and ale and sometimes wine are almost always in order. Additionally, fast foods, excessive salt, sugar, and fat should also be avoided. Whenever possible, iodized sea salt and agave nectar sweeteners should be used. According to Wicca in the Kitchen by Scott Cunningham, many are strict vegetarians and shun meat, poultry, and some even avoid eggs. Red meat is frequently seen as poison due to additives and high fat content. While some follow macrobiotic diets, vegan diets, or other diets similar but allow for the consumption of goat's milk, eggs, and occasionally fish and seafood, many see animals as sacred and believe that a spiritual path to enlightenment requires them a strict vegan or vegetarian diet. There is also a dietary requirement for certain foods to be consumed on certain Sabbats and Esbats. Although many say there is no Wiccan diet, this is a problematic statement. This is due to the fact that Wicca refers to an entire religion. All the while, a Wiccan can be a witch of any sort, whether or not they belong to a coven or not, whether or not they belong to a particular denomination or path, whether they practice together or not, whether they follow a solitary family coven or denominational tradition, or a whole mix of things. Regardless of these variations, a natural and organic, preservative and additive and antibiotic and hormone and GMO-free, vegan, vegetarian, and animal cruelty-free diet is preferred by the majority of Wiccans, and such represents a religious dietary requirement for most. Now, onto the food. Apples. Let's start with apples. They are considered sacred because when cut in half, the seeds appear to form a pentagram, one of Wicca's most sacred symbols, used in protected magical talismans. According to Scott Cunningham, one of Wicca's most prolific and popular writers, and author of the best-selling Wicca book of all time, Wicca: A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner, specific days of the year were set aside for riotous feasting. These days are known as the Eight Sabbats, or Wiccan holidays, on the Wiccan wheel of the year, used to mark the life and death of the horned sun god and his eternal partner, the triple moon goddess, whom gives birth to him every year. It is especially important for those in jail, mental hospitals, and military, colleges, and other residentially isolated situations to have calories to sustain their life and their religious diet at the same time. For Yule, around December 21st, the sacred apple, of course, and its derivatives are consumed. These include mulled apple cider, apple pie, apple and rhubarb sauce, winter vegetables such as kale, onions, beets, and potatoes. The beverage wassail, gingerbread cakes made of bran and honey and ginger. It is considered important at this time of year to be able to cut foods such as cookies or fruit into particular shapes, such as circles for the sun, crescents for the moon, bells to ward off evil, stars, five-pointed, for protection, especially trees, to focus on sustaining life through the winter months. Jerky saved up from previous years, a great protein addition to the celebration. January 1st. Although there are not any specific examples of a New Year's diet that I know of, it's important to do more of the same healthy, natural, organic, and unadulterated diet. One important ritual for the New Year is ritualistic sweeping with a besom. This is meant to sweep away the worries of the past while inviting goodness into the home. Leaving bread and money on a table for the coming new year while chanting is done to promote a year of bountiful food, and generous funds of both customs should be respected and permitted. Imbolc, circa February 2nd. Curried rice and jalapeno salsa with grilled chicken and beans is perfect for Imbolc, as we celebrate the sun's fire touching our land as we mark the beginning of spring, and we use hot things to eat to mark this time. Garlic dishes are also of significance. An important ritual is lighting torches and forming a procession to welcome the sun back from the depths of winter. The horned god's rebirth. The horned god is often represented by a deer and is known as the antlered god or horned one. Ostara, March 21st. As spring is sprung, sprouts and seeds are considered seasonally appropriate fare. Leafy green vegetable salads, especially with edible flowers, are an essential addition to Ostara meals. These include rose squash and passion flower and nasturtium blossoms. Fresh, organic, free-range eggs are also an excellent protein to add to the mix. Coloring them hard-boiled is an appropriate activity. Mabon, or Mabane, September 21st. Corn chowder, beans, squash, and fall vegetable stews and salads are quintessential second harvest eats. Grains are also to be eaten, and homemade breads are also an appropriate activity. Samhain, November 1. Happy Halloween and Feliz Dia de los Muertos and Holy All Saints Day. This crisscrossing of traditions clashes with the witch's kitchen with a savory seasonal spread in which pumpkin pie cannot be without. Furthermore, roots are to be in order, such as potato, beet, carrot, and turnip plates. Don't forget the yummy lemon seasoned radish, too. Grains and nuts are also welcome, as are mulled wines and ciders. Cakes of all kinds are more than welcome. And that is what Wiccan diet. That's a Wiccan diet. That's what Wiccans eat on the Sabbats and Esbats.